Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello everyone. My name is Rosalia Nurul Aisyah, and today I would like to present about this book, Satuan Bahasa, Kategori, Fungsi, Peran, dan Relasi Makna. So this book is discussed about a theory of languages that presents 3 languages. But today, we just mention about 2 languages, in English and Indonesia. So this amazing book is written by Mr. Maulana Mualim and Mr. Fauzi Shamsuar. And then we would discuss and elaborate about one chapter of this book. It's about grammatical category. So, a grammatical category is true with language units. So in this book is discussed about some aspect or language units is about word, phrase, clause, and sentence. Especially for this group, would discuss about word and phrase. Okay, without any further ado, I would like to start with word. So, a word can consist of free morpheme and bound morpheme. A free morpheme is a word that can stand alone in a sentence. For example, like write. Yeah. And then it can be added by bound morpheme to become writer. Okay. Jadi, sebuah kata dapat terdiri dari morfem bebas dan juga morfem terikat. Di mana morfem bebas itu adalah sebuah kata yang dapat berdiri sendiri tanpa ada tambahan suatu apapun. Contohnya seperti write, tulis. Kemudian dapat ditambahkan oleh morfem terikat menjadi writer, ditambahkan er menjadi penulis. Yeah. And in English grammatical, we usually know about grammatical categories, is familiar with part of speech. And in this book, there are some of part of speeches is about noun, and then verb, adjective, adverb, pronoun, preposition, conjunction, article, and other particle. Okay, the first part of speech is noun. Noun is a word that describes things, person, animal, idea, and etc. So, there are 2 kinds of noun here. It's about concrete noun and abstract noun. So, concrete noun is a noun that can be seen by our eyes and it has a shape. Jadi, concrete noun itu adalah sebuah kata benda yang bisa kita lihat dengan mata dan memiliki bentuk atau wujud. Kemudian, concrete noun itu bisa dibagi menjadi beberapa jenis. There are proper noun, common noun, collective noun, and uncountable noun. So, the first is common noun. So, common noun is a common things ya, atau bisa kita sebut juga dengan nama jenis, sesuatu yang umum, biasanya seperti profesi, bisa juga seperti farmer, and then city, also teacher, and etc. And then ada juga a proper noun. Proper noun is about a word that more specific than common noun. Kita satukan dalam sebuah kalimat. Seperti this is a singer. Her name is Icha. So, we underlined in singer word. Singer is a common noun. And then Icha is a proper noun. So, Icha is more specific. Mohon maaf. So, proper noun is more specific than common noun. Kemudian, ada collective noun. So, collective noun is a word to collect many things or to collect things that more than one. Sesuatu, kata yang dideskripsikan untuk mengumpulkan benda yang lebih dari satu. For example, like in a class there is a group of students, and then in a market there is a bunch of spinach. Jadi kata group dan bunch itu berfungsi sebagai collective noun. Kemudian ada uncountable noun. Ada uncountable noun, ada juga sebenarnya ada countable noun. Kalau countable noun is a word or is a noun that can be counted by number with number 1, 2, 3, 4. Seperti sesuatu yang bisa dihitung dengan angka. For example, like there are 2 cookies. Ada 2 buah biskuit. Kemudian kalau uncountable noun itu sesuatu yang cannot be counted by number. For example, like water. We cannot count water with 2 waters, but 2 glass of waters. 2 glass of water. Gitu. Kemudian, abstract noun. Abstract noun itu adalah sesuatu that cannot be seen by our eyes and it has no shape. Jadi lawannya dari si concrete noun tadi, sesuatu yang tidak memiliki bentuk dan tidak bisa dilihat. Nah, di situ dibagi lagi menjadi beberapa kategori, seperti sesuatu yang bisa dimiliki dengan secara mental. In the mental scope, seperti ada awareness, confidence, loyalty. Kemudian ada juga an event, berupa an event atau suatu kejadian seperti birthday maksudnya. Kemudian ada juga death, future, marriage. Kemudian ada juga a relationship seperti love. Kemudian ada a measurement atau ukuran seperti meter, minute, hour, dan lain-lain. Okay, the second part is verb. So verb is a word that indicates all about process and then activities and situation. And there is some kinds of verb. It's about action verb. Action verb is a verb that describes an action. Sesuai dengan namanya, action verb itu kata kerja yang memiliki aksi. Bisa dilihat. For example, like look, walk, sing. Kemudian ada juga process verb. Process verb is a verb that contains any process. Jadi sesuatu kata kerja yang memiliki proses. Seperti cook, boil, build. Kemudian ada study verb. Study verb is, jadi study verb itu adalah lawannya dari action verb. It's about hate, love, and here. Jadi bagaimana kita membedakan study verb dan action verb? Contoh, kita punya contoh action verb walk, artinya berjalan. Kemudian dari study verbnya itu ada love, artinya mencintai. Kita membedakan antara action verb dan study verb di sini dengan cara ketika kita melihat seseorang sedang berjalan, ya kita lihat mereka sedang berjalan, sedang beraksi, sedang melakukan aksinya, berjalan. Namun ketika kita memiliki di study verb ada love, kita tidak bisa melihat seseorang itu sedang mencintai seseorang kecuali seseorang itu melakukan aksi lain. Kalau action verb kan kita lihat saja, kita bisa lihat langsung orang itu sedang berjalan. Kalau misalkan sedang mencintai seseorang, kita tidak bisa kecuali orang itu melakukan hal lain, melakukan aksi lain, begitu. Kemudian ada verb of occurrence, seperti happen and come. And then weather verb, seperti rain and cloud. Jadi weather verb itu kata kerja yang berhubungan dengan cuaca. Ketika rain biasanya bisa menjadi noun, di verb ini menjadi weather verb. Kemudian ada adjective. So adjective is a word that describes and limit noun. Jadi kata sifat atau adjective itu mendeskripsikan daripada noun. Jadi mendeskripsikan nounnya itu bagaimana, suatu benda itu sifatnya bagaimana. For example, like small, old, white. Ya, there is an old book. Nah, bukunya itu sudah tua, begitu. Okay, the next is adverb. So adverb is a word that limits verb. Kalau tadi adjective itu untuk membatasi kata noun, nah kalau adverb itu untuk membatasi verb. Nah, biasa disebut dengan kata keterangan. So there are many kinds of adverb here. Yang pertama ada adverb of manner. Adverb of manner is about adverb that describe bagaimana suatu pekerjaan itu bisa terjadi. Maksudnya bagaimana caranya ya, manner itu cara. For example, like slowly, fast, dengan cepat atau dengan lambat. Kemudian ada adverb of time, keterangan waktu. For example, like tomorrow, yesterday, every day. And then adverb of place, seperti here and there, itu keterangan tempat. Kemudian ada adverb of frequency, seberapa banyak atau seberapa sering, seperti often, rarely, never, atau tidak pernah sama sekali. Kemudian ada adverb of certainly, sebuah kepastian, seperti surely, probably, maybe. And then adverb of degree, atau tingkatan, seperti very, rather, enough, cukup atau sangat atau. Kemudian ada interrogative adverb, itu yang berhubungan dengan kata tanya ya, seperti 5W1H. Kemudian ada conjunction adverb atau kata hubung seperti then, and then next, or however. Okay, the next is pronoun. So pronoun is a word to replace noun. Jadi pronoun itu adalah kata yang digunakan untuk menggantikan noun atau benda. Yeah. There are many kinds of pronoun here. The first is personal pronoun. For example, like I, you, they, we, he, she, it. And then also objective pronoun. Objective pronoun is when the pronoun become object. Ketika pronoun itu ketika noun itu menjadi sebuah objek. Seperti me, you, them, her, him, kemudian it. Kemudian ada indefinite pronoun. Is not mentioned about gender, jadi tanpa memperhatikan gender, seperti something, anyone, everything. And then relative pronoun. So relative pronoun is a pronoun that replaces noun or the things that become a bridge to its antecedent. Jadi kata yang menggantikan benda itu sebagai penghubung dengan antecedennya, nanti kembalinya ke situ lagi. For example, like who, which, whose, whom, or that. The next is reflexive pronoun. So reflexive pronoun is about myself, yourself, themselves, itself, and etc. Jadi sesuatu yang kembalinya ke diri masing-masing ya, ada self-nya. And then ada possessive pronoun ya, atau kepemilikan seperti my, your, our, their, his, her. Kemudian ada vocative pronoun. Vocative pronoun is a pronoun to menyapa. For example, like hey you, or hey cha, langsung ke namanya, or hey bro, and etc. And then demonstrative pronoun. Itu untuk menunjuk, seperti this, that, those, or this, seperti itu. Okay? That's all about my presentation today, and I do apologize for any mistakes, and the next part of speech would be presented by my friend. Thank you.
Okay, next is conjunction. First, definition about the conjunction. Conjunction is used to join words, ideas, phrases, or clause together and show how they are connected. Or in other words, we can say that conjunction is used to connect clause or sentence, or to coordinate words in the same clause. There are three types of conjunction. First is coordinating conjunction, the second is correlative conjunction, and the third is subordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, atau biasa kita kenal dengan fanboys. And the second is correlative conjunction, one that have multiple parts, either, or, neither, nor, but, and so on. And the third is subordinating conjunction, before, after, during, until, something like that. Okay, next to the example. The first example is I was hot and tired, but I still finished it. In this sentence, and join the adjective hot and tired together to express that I felt this together. But is also a conjunction to join the first clause I was hot and tired to the second I still finished it. But is used to contrast that even though I was hot and tired, I was still able to finish it. Another example, I listened to music while I was running. While is also a conjunction that joins two clauses, it shows there is a relation or connection between the two. And next is preposition. Definition about the preposition is word that show the relationship between two things of a noun, noun phrase or pronoun to another word in space, time, and logic. Add on it, from, with, about. Okay, and the example is, I left my keys on the table for you. Look at this example that has two prepositions. Can you see them? The first preposition is on. Preposition of place. It tells us where something is. The second preposition is for, which show the relationship. Next example, my birthday is in February. The preposition in is a preposition of time that introduces the time period and let us know that my birthday is in that period of time. And the next is article. A, an, and the. A or an to talk about a noun in general, and the to talk about a specific noun. Okay, look at this example. I need a dictionary. A is an indefinite article. We're talking about a dictionary in general. Okay, and the second example, the dictionary needs to be in English. The is a definite article and is used to be more specific. In traditional grammar, articles appear under the category of adjectives. Sometimes, articles are included in a large named word class called determiner. Okay, next is numerals. Numerals in English grammar are determiners that provide information about the amount of word or phrase. Numeral is grammatical form. The grammatical function performed by numerals is determinative. Numerals are counting numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For example, I have 1 ballpoint, I have 2 ballpoint. There are 3 types of numeral. First is cardinal, second is ordinal, and the third is nominal. Cardinal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and ordinal is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5, and the nominal is identify something like telephone number, driver's license, and the player number.
Okay, now I will explain the material about the grammatical categories of phrase. Before we start, we have to know first, what is a phrase? According to the Cambridge Dictionary, a phrase means a group of words that is a part rather than the whole of a sentence. Another sources also define a phrase as a group of words that doesn't consist subject and predicate, but it is already has meaning. Atau dalam bahasa Indonesia, phrase atau frasa dapat juga diartikan sebagai suatu kumpulan kata dalam suatu kalimat yang tidak terdiri dari subjek dan predikat, namun sudah memiliki arti. For example, a good man. Pada kata a good man, kita tidak mengetahui dengan jelas mana subjeknya, mana predikatnya. Sedangkan pola umum frasa adalah am plus m, atau modifier had plus modifier. The first modifier is called as pre-modifier, and then the last modifier is called as a post-modifier. So what is the modifier and head? Modifier is a word that explaining the head. Sebuah kata yang menjelaskan headnya. Kata tersebut bisa berfungsi sebagai adverb atau adjective pada kalimat tersebut. And then head means the word that explained by modifier, atau kata yang dijelaskan oleh modifiernya. Biasanya kata itu berupa noun atau number. Grammatical categories of phrase are divided by 4 types. It is a noun phrase atau frasa nominal, verb phrase atau frasa verbal, kemudian ada adjective phrase atau frasa adjectival, and then the last one is prepositional phrase atau frasa preposisional. The first one is noun phrase atau frasa nominal. Noun berarti kata benda, dan dalam noun phrase sendiri, head yang dijelaskan adalah berupa noun atau fokusnya berupa noun. For example, she bought a nice dress yesterday. Noun phrase-nya adalah a nice dress. Yang kedua adalah verb phrase atau frasa verbal. Head-nya berupa verb atau kata kerja. Verb phrase sendiri dapat dipahami juga sebagai verb yang biasa. For example, I try to not to cry, but it is so sad. Verb phrase-nya adalah try to not to cry, di mana itu juga merupakan sebuah verb atau kata kerja. The third one is adjective phrase atau frasa adjektif. Head-nya of course berupa adjektif atau kata sifat. Pada adjective phrase sendiri terdapat imbuhan keterangan pada noun-nya. For example, in the sentence I lost the beautiful red ring yesterday. Noun phrase, adjective phrase-nya adalah the beautiful red ring, di mana the beautiful red adalah sebuah imbuhan keterangan pada noun-nya yaitu ring. The fourth one is prepositional phrase atau frasa preposisional, yaitu frasa yang memberikan keterangan tempat, waktu, dan biasanya diawali dengan kata in, on, at, by, dan lain-lain. For example, I visit my grandmother on the next weekend. Frasa preposisionalnya adalah on the next weekend. I think that's all for me and all of my friends. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.